The book of Luke, chapter 10, verse 18. And he said unto them, I beheld Satan as lightning fall from heaven. Giving all praises, honor, and glory to the Most High Power Yahweh, in the name of his only begotten Son, Yahweh Shai. Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Barakatah Racha Kodash, Bahashum, Yahweh Shai, Bahashum Racha Kodash. Shalom, and shalom and double honors to the elder apostles of Great Millstone. Shalom to the elders in Achium and Aquath. Shalom. I want to go into a quick video. I'm not sure the exact title yet, but something along the lines of the great unraveling of white supremacy. And there's an article that came across here on naturalnews.com. Leave the link in the description. The title of it is The Great Unraveling is Now Upon Us. It's all breaking down with stunning speed. So this is the Most High is causing Satan to fall like lightning from heaven. Heaven is a condition played out on earth. Rulership is a heavenly state. So they're in their heaven right now. A so-called white man's heaven is a so-called black man's. Hispanic and Native American, the lost 12 tribes of Israel, is our hell. So he's falling from heaven as like lightning at lightning speed right now. They say stunning speed, but lightning speed right now. Because since 2020, things have unraveled and deteriorated at a very fast pace, and that's the Most High, wrapping this place up, wrapping up Babylon the Great to usher in the kingdom of heaven, sending his only begotten Son, Yahweh, to redeem the elect. So reading here in the article, it says, the Western world, that's here in America, the Western world is breaking down with stunning speed as all the lies, delusions, corruption, and fake fiat money printing has reached a tipping point of collapse. Now we know that fiat money is basically monopoly fake money, and it's making a mockery of the people having a board game called Monopoly, and it's basically the same kind of money that you use in your everyday life. And so it's speaking about the lies, delusions, corruptions, and the fake money. So we know Esau, he had no problem with everything going on smooth as long as he wasn't affected. Now that it's turning on his own head now, the citizens from the elite, wicked elites on top in the government, now the average Joe Edomite, so-called white man in America and throughout the earth, are now being gobbled up by the elites of their people. Now it's a problem. But this is all biblical prophecy, and we're going to get some precepts. So just real quick on the lies, and he's talking about corruption and everything. We'll go to John 8:44. So it says, ye are of your father the devil, and the lust of your father ye will do. So when you understand the history and the context of this is Yahweh Shah, the Messiah, speaking. This is in red. He was he was chastening the Pharisees, the wicked Pharisees that were sold out to the Romans, because the Romans gave the Pharisees, which were the Levitical priests at that time, gave them their seat and their place, just like the modern day Pharisees, the pastors. So he's saying, he's telling the Pharisees that they're of their father, the devil, and their father was the Romans, so-called white man, the Edomites. And so this is who Yahweh was speaking about, the Messiah. He says he was speaking about the so-called white man. And the lust of your father ye will do. He was a murderer from the beginning. Who was that? That's Cain. That's how it's one of the linking mysteries right there. Cain is regenerated and reincarnated, however you want to put it, and through Esau. And Esau is the so-called Romans, so-called white race today. So they were the murderers from the beginning, and they were cursed with Most High stripped them of their melanin. That's why they're leprous today, and they don't have melanin to protect their skin. He was a murderer from the beginning and abode not in the truth, because there is no truth in him. And what does Isaiah 8:20 say? We'll get that real quick. That's why it's no light in Esau, Edom, the so-called white race. Isaiah 8:20. To the law and to the testimony, if they speak not according to this word, it is because there is no light in them. So the truth, the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High, the Bible, the words from the Almighty, is the light. And we know the so-called white race don't speak at all about anything out of the Bible, but they lie on it and blaspheme it. They take away and add to it. So going back, 44, it says, he was a murderer from the beginning and abode not in the truth, because there is no truth in him. When he speaketh a lie, he speaketh of his own, for he is a liar and the father of it. So this country was built on lies and built on blood, on the innocent blood that was shed by Esau Edom, and his country was built on that blood. He built his country on that blood off the backs of the natives' brothers, so-called blacks, the Judites, the tribe of Judah. So so now, lies can only proliferate for so long. Eventually the wickedness and the lies are going to unravel, and wickedness and liars will be rooted out. So real quick, and then going to Job chapter 13 and verse 4. But ye are forgers of lies, ye are all physicians of no value. So we know that they forge lies, they create lies, they come up with lies, and they frame it, and they put lies and laws into effect and make unrighteous decrees. And then also we'll go back to Job one more time and get Job 20 and 5. That the triumphing of the wicked is short. So Esau Edom, he's been triumphing with his kingdom of America for a short period of time, but he's now running out. He's falling with lightning speed now. And the joy of the hypocrite, but for a moment. So we know that he is the ultimate hypocrite. Whatever side benefits him is what the side he's going to push and make a case for. Because it's not the truth. The truth is objective, but he's not. He's he's the opposite of objective. Subjective, I guess. Subjective when it's about from his own corner wicked mind. And then so going back to, okay, let me see. Okay, we'll continue reading here. It says, it has reached a tipping point of collapse. And now right here, nothing works anymore. So all, the Most High, he's the ultimate chess player, and a lie has endless roads, but the Most High is cutting off all of his roads of lies. So nothing works anymore. Every lie, every road of lies they try to jump to figure out a way to circumvent their demise, the Most High is cutting them off. Every corner that they try to turn to, he's cutting it off, and nothing's working for him anymore, because he's the ultimate, cunning liar and deceiver, the wily coyote. Nothing works anymore. The governments of the world are criminal cartels. Wait a minute. They've always been criminal cartels. Why are they saying that now? Because it's affecting them now too. They had no problem. We the ones getting gunned down in the streets, and then slavery and oppression here, getting redlined, getting the worst, the last hired and first fired, getting, lower wages and oppression and resource deficient at every level. They didn't say nothing about how corrupt it was then. They're hypocrites. So that's the joy of the hypocrite for a moment. And where we at? Criminal cartels that are deliberately dismantling food and energy resources necessary to keep half the human population alive. This coming winter, Europeans are going to starve and freeze to death in record numbers that harken back to the Dark Ages. Pre-electricity and pre-fossil fuels. So right here in Sirach 25 and 7, there be 9 things which I have judged in mine heart to be happy, and the 10th I will utter with my tongue. A man that hath joy of his children, and he that liveth to see the fall of his enemy. So this is a joyous occasion. Those that have been in the house of mourning, the hopeful body, the hopeful house of David, the hopeful elect of Yahushua, have been in the house of mourning, and now we're starting to see that glimmer of the prophecies coming to pass and things turning around now, because the great fall of our enemy, our greatest enemy, is in full swing now, and it's a beautiful thing to see. And then from there we'll get, so they're talking about, it harkens back to the Dark Ages. It says, this coming winter, Europeans are going to starve and freeze to death in record numbers that harken back to the Dark Ages. So what was happening in the Dark Ages? That's when they were shut up in those caves and they were out of power, and they got destroyed, and we knocked them out. The Israelites, we knocked them out of power, and we ran them up in the caves. And that was a prophecy that was fulfilled in Revelations 20. Because Revelations, in the book of Revelation, was written around about between 85 to 95 AD. You know, so this was a prophecy of about 300 to 400 years before it happened. In Revelation chapter 20 right here, it says, Revelation 20:2, and he laid hold on the dragon, that old serpent, that's Esau Edom, the serpent from the garden, which is the devil. We went over who the devil was, and I have videos about that, going into the devil, John 8:44, which is the devil and Satan. Satan means adversary. He's the adversary of the Most High, because he don't speak of the Most High words, he speak of his own. And bound him 1,000 years. So we know that they were in the caves over there in Europe for 1,000 years. In verse 3, that was the Dark Ages. In verse 3, and cast him into the bottomless pit. That was the caves over there in Europe. Because Europe landmass is the most resource deficient landmass on the earth. It has no kind of resources. It's very depleted. And that's another reason why it's the bottomless pit. Nothing there. And shut him up, and set a seal upon him, that he should not deceive the nations no more. Because that's all he does, is deceive and lie. Till the 1,000 years should be fulfilled. Till the Dark Ages, which were 1,000 years when he was over there in the Dark Ages. And after that, he must be loosed a little season. So he came out and named it what? The Renaissance. Renaissance means what? It's a French word that means rebirth. He was rebirthed when he came out of those caves, when he came out of that bottomless pit. And then he was loose a little season. That little season is right now in America, because America is still a very young country. It only came into independence around the 1700s, right? When they officially became, independent, quote unquote, independent. So this is that little season, and now they're falling like lightning from their heaven and rulership right now. So that's the Dark Ages. So they were destroyed then, and they reverting back to that. That's them falling back to their natural lot in existence, because they are the base man, the lowest level race of all the people, right? So reading on, it says, pre-fossil fuels, North Americans won't be spared either, as rolling blackouts and food scarcity will dramatically worsen in the coming months. And these are the part of the prophecies of the wars and rumors of wars and the pestilences and the earthquakes in diverse places. So this is all coming to pass now, and the Most High is just bringing one upon another plagues, just hitting them with left, right, hitting them, every which way from every angle, because it's time to bring this devil down, because iniquity has reached its peak. So reading on, it says, food, fertility, energy, transportation, and supply chains are all being taken down in a controlled demolition of the Western world. So they can blame it on saying that the wicked elites on the left-hand side is controlling it, but the Most High controls everything. He's putting the spirits on them to do this, because this is just all a part of the Most High's grand plan. And no one understands the infinite wisdom and workings of how the Most High brings nations down, right? This is the greatest. This is about to be the greatest destruction of a nation ever, and we're witnessing the early stages of it. And it's only going to get worse and worse. But the elect of Israel will be preserved through it all. As the scriptures say, my servants shall eat, and you shall be hungry. So the servants is representative of the elect. The servants, the prophets, and the rest of the elect, 1/3. And where we at? And being taken down in a controlled demolition of the Western world. So the wicked elites, America over here, is nothing more than just the wicked elites, the Illuminati, shadow government, which their headquarters are over there in Europe. But they used America. It was just to make a lot of money and prosper and get filthy rich. Over here, this was just a big corporation, a big business to make a bunch of money. And then in the end, and now the wicked elites are done with America. So that's why they're just wrapping the spirit, because the wicked elites, the shadow government, works closely with Satan. And ultimately the Most High controls it all. On the left hand side, on the right hand side and the left hand side. This is just perfect mastery and execution by the Most High. In a controlled demolition, let's see, and taking its place will be the rising BRICS nations: Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. Originally it was the BRIC. South Africa has been added recently. I think in the last decade, South Africa has been joined to the BRIC, which is four nations, and that's the four carpenters spoken of in Zechariah chapter 1, verse 20 through 21. That's the four carpenters that's going to destroy America, that's going to rise up and take down Babylon the Great. South Africa and more to join soon. See, because just like the 10 horns, the 7 heads and 10 horns on top of the beast, which was the Roman Empire, revised and through America, the 10 horns and 7 heads is the European Union and NATO, is the United Nations and NATO, right? The European Union, all of that conglomerate. And then they added, it was originally 10 nations, and then they kept adding more and more to it. So the four carpenters, the BRIC, is going to continuously add allies, to their union, to their original four carpenters union. That control most of the world's commodities, natural gas. We know Russia got a lot of natural gas, and Europe has been hurt big time by the natural gas that Russia cut off from it, and that oil and everything that they produce from all of this as well. Fertilizer and gold. So from there, it says that Western governments are waging genocidal wars against their own people. So, this is just the Esau Edom just destroying itself, because they destroy all the nations and they destroy themselves, because like the phrase goes, there's no honor amongst thieves. And so we'll get Sirach 14, or Ecclesiasticus 14 verses 5 through 6. It says, he that is evil to himself, to whom will he be good? He shall not take pleasure in his goods. There is none worse than he that envieth himself. He envies his own self, his own people, own nations, and that's why his worst enemy is himself. Really, he's fighting himself. And this is a recompense of his wickedness. And this is coming, and he's fighting and eating and destroying himself and going to burn himself with fire, thermonuclear fire, because this is because of his wickedness. And the Most High is allowing everything to come back upon his own head that he's been dishing out. Because that which you sow, you shall also reap. In Galatians 6 and 7. Let's see. You drop fire and drop atomic bombs on on the Japanese, and then it's gonna come back on his own head in the end. Yeah, from there we'll get Matthew chapter 12 and verse 25 through 26. And Yahushua knew their thoughts, and said unto them, Every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation, and every city or house divided against itself shall not stand. And if Satan cast out Satan, he is divided against himself. How shall then his kingdom stand? So the wicked elite, the government over here, destroying their own citizens, and the European leaders are destroying the Europeans over there, the European citizens over there, and that's Babylon the Great, and that's the whore, which is America, on top of the beast, which is the Roman Empire reborn and rebirth here in America, and then the 7 heads and 10 horns, which is Europe, NATO, and the European and the United Nations. They're all destroying each other, and they're eating themselves from the inside out while trying to take down the Israelites in the process as well. So you know that they're against themselves, and they're evil to themselves. So you know they can't be good to anyone else, and then they can't stand because they're divided amongst themselves, because they're all snakes eating themselves. So from there we'll get Isaiah chapter 19 and verse 2. And I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians, and they shall fight everyone against his brother. So the modern day Egyptians is the so-called white race. This is modern day Egypt. Egypt meaning a hard place. It means Egypt means bondage. Let's go ahead and get it real quick. Exodus 20 and 2. I am the Lord Yahweh thy power, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. So Egypt is the house of bondage, and the modern day house of bondage is America, Babylon the Great. This is the glory of kingdoms. It's all the old wicked ancient kingdoms all rolled up into one. So this is spiritually Egypt as well, through the captivity. And we was at Isaiah 19. So this is a prophecy of that. And I will set the Egyptians, this are the modern day Americans, or the modern day Egyptians. And I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians, and they shall fight every one against his brother, and every one against his neighbor, city against city, and kingdom against kingdom. So we were just reading that in Matthew. The Messiah prophesied it as well. Verse 3, and the spirit of Egypt shall fail in the midst thereof. There's no more joy, there's no mirth, no more mirth. If you can sense it in the air. Everyone is, the so-called white race, they're not as proud and jolly as they once were. They're being brought low now because, they can see the end. Everyone knows something catastrophic is about to happen. And if don't have that covering, you're going to suffer that judgment. It says, and I will destroy the counsel thereof. And they used to be able to deceive and trick and beguile everybody, but now their craftiness is eroding away, and they're becoming very, very base and very sounding very foolish, because everyone can see the lies and the gimmicks now, and he's no more crafty with it, because the Most High is taking that strength away from him now, because it's just time to be judged. He had his strength because he was ruling. Now he's fallen. Now the Most High has determined it's time to take him down, and now he's losing all of his strength. And they shall seek to the idols, and to the charmers, and to them that have familiar spirits, and to the wizards, because he's trying every trick to try to pull the wool back over the people's eyes, and through the media and the non-stop propaganda machine, spreading the lies to cast spells on the people to keep them in under their control mentally with the lies, but it's not working anymore. So that's his counsel, his secret counsel. And when they have their secret little think tanks, and then they put it forth in their media, and then they watch it work. But now it's no longer working. Their counsel is failing, and it's not working on the people anymore. So They're very weak now. Where we at? Okay, and that was that for that. Yeah. So it's going into that council, Jeremiah 49 and verse 7. Concerning Edom, thus saith the Most High Power Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai of hosts. Is wisdom no more in Teman? Teman is an ancient capital city of Esau. And now it's, the Pentagon, it's the military state over there in Washington, and also the media and the shadow government as well, that runs all of this from the shadow. Is wisdom no more in Teman? Is counsel perished from the prudent? Is their wisdom vanished? So we just read the Egyptians' counsel, and we know that, as I broke it down, the Egyptians, the modern day Egyptians, are the so-called white race, the Edomites. And then it goes hand in hand right here with Jeremiah 49 and 7. The Most High saying concerning Edom, so-called white race. And he's saying his counsel perished from the prudent. The Most High is being sarcastic because he know it is, because it's time to this is the time that he appointed for Esau, Edom, to lose his craftiness of his deception. So from there, Jeremiah 51 and 9. We would have healed Babylon, because Babylon right now is wounded. Just like the first Roman Empire, it was wounded, like the scriptures say in Revelation. The beast was wounded to death, but it was healed. It was healed how? Through the Renaissance, and then America, and then Rome being rebirthed through America. But now Babylon the Great, Rome, Egypt is wounded again, and this is it. It says we would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her, and let us go every one into his own country. So all the nations that have been getting money with America, the great whore, are now fleeing away from her, because they see that the end and the demise at hand now. For her judgment reacheth into heaven, and is lifted up even to the skies. So all of the sins of this place, we don't even know half of the things that Esau has been doing over all of these centuries. It is very terrible with the sins and wickedness that he's been doing. And now it's time for him to be taken down. So from there we'll get Revelation 17 and go ahead and close out. It reads, verse 1, and there came one of the 7 angels which had the 7 vials, and talked with me, saying unto me, come hither, I will show unto thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters. That whore is America. The waters are many different nations. That the whore America reigns over right now. So this is the judgments. In verse 5, and upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth. Because there's no place more abominable than Babylon the Great, so-called America. This is all the wicked nations of the past rolled into one under their god Satan. And then verse 15, and he said unto me, the waters which thou sawest, where the whore sitteth, are peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues. So these are all the nations of the earth that wander after the beast, following the same ways, wearing 3-piece suits, like the so-called white man, getting money with them. Verse 16, and the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and that's the European Union, and the United Nations and NATO, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh, and burn her with fire. So they evil to themselves, and they're going to end up turning on the whore, because the wicked elites that are the Illuminati shadow government, which headquarters, as I mentioned, is in Europe. They're about to turn on her and then burn her with fire, along with Russia and China and all of its allies, Gog and Magog. So it's going to be a major, massive, mighty host of armies. Host meaning armies, that's going to destroy Babylon the Great with tons of missiles, thermonuclear missiles. those arrows, and burn her with fire. Verse 17, for Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, hath put in their hearts to fulfill his will. And also the chariot laser beam fire as well. It's going to be chariots zapping people too at the same time. So it's going to be all out destruction, never before seen, and never will be seen again. For Yahweh, verse 17 again, for Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, hath put in their hearts to fulfill his will. So this lets you know right here, this is all of these nations are doing these things, but who's the grand master of it all? The Most High Power, Yahweh, is orchestrating and organizing and executing all of this flawlessly, He's put it, for Yahweh hath put in their hearts to fulfill his will and to agree and give their kingdom unto the beast. So this is what's happening right now with the European Union and NATO and United Nations. They were allies with America for a while, and they let the whore America guide them, but that's only for a season. And give their kingdom unto the beast until the words of Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, shall be fulfilled. So they will be allies with America temporarily until it's time to turn and burn it with fire, with the Gog and Magog, Russia, and all of its allies. Verse 18, and the woman which thou sawest is that great city, Babylon the Great, America, which reigneth over the kings of the earth, because America is the world superpower right now, and it's about to get taken down. So I'll leave the link of this article in the description. Hope this video is edifying. The water to the Rachak Wadash from the Most High Power through Yahushua sending in his name. Hope this video is edifying. Until next video, I say, Shalom.